YouTube, what it do? Brent Thomas again. You already know. Husband, father, physical therapist, fitness enthusiast, veteran of the Texas Army National Guard, Iraqi war veteran, all that. All that shit, and some more that I left off, I'm sure. Not saying that to toot my own horn, but it's just to say it out loud to remember and remind myself of what the fuck I've accomplished. I'm not a fucking Olympic gold medalist, but just like everybody else, you have to honor what you've been through, what you've done, and the work you've put in. Because sometimes you forget. Sometimes people are trying to make you forget. Life makes you forget your circumstances. But every so often, you got to remind yourself. I do, anyway. Self-awareness. This is video 5 or 6. I've recorded, this is my third one in a row now. I think it's 5, video 5. Self-awareness is the theme of this video. Something that has helped me out tremendously, that I have now, that has given me the courage to even come on this camera as consistent as I am right now, is personality testing. The first time I took a personality test was in freshman year of college in 2008 at a freshman seminar. And I had this professor, Mr. Brown, shout out to Mr. Brown, who saw me so well. He didn't have my personality described to a T, but he did enlighten me on something that resonated, but I didn't really get until years later after experiencing life. But he said, from my results, he was like, you know what, Brent? That's funny. You're like an introverted extrovert. So it's like, it's counterintuitive, or it's not what you would think, right? If a person's extroverted, they're extroverted. If you're introverted, you're introverted. Well, my stuff was more so situational. Even today, sometimes I can either chill in the background or be out there front and center. Just depends on the company I'm around, the energy, so forth. That's when I was about, 18, 19. I'm 35 now. I've experienced quite a bit of life. Marriage, kids, college, graduate school, career. Been in quite a few circles. I've had quite a few triumphs, quite a few failures. But Myers-Briggs has been a pivotal puzzle piece for me in developing my self-awareness. And for those of you who have never heard of Myers-Briggs, it is a personality test that breaks down 4 categories that a person leads with, or the perspective and outlook that a person has on the world. For me, well, I'll tell you what, the categories of those 4 categories, you can either be extroverted or introverted, intuitive or a sensor, a thinker or a feeler, a perceiver or a judger. Now, there are tons and tons of books on Amazon, at your local Barnes & Nobles, at your local half-price bookstore, online, wherever. Tons of books that'll break down the Myers-Briggs personality test, right? And the different categories of it, and what's called the functions of it. I dare you to look up the functions of the Myers-Briggs system, just to enlighten yourself and find out what the fuck it's talking about. In my case, I'm what's called an ENFP, or an extroverted, intuitive, feeling perceiver. Mouthful, right? Sounds crazy. Nah, it don't sound crazy. Fuck that. It's a lot. It's a lot. And each of those words, you can dive deep into the meaning of what those are. But what that means is I'm an outgoing, very abstract thinking individual that has a heart for the people, being that feeler. And I'm very emotionally aware of the energies that surround me, as well as with the P, ENFP, I like to have my options open. In a nutshell, the crazy thing about this, and the reason I emphasized the life experience earlier in this video, is that for the longest time, based off of how I was showing up in life, I was thinking that I was an introverted individual, or what's called an INFJ. Then there was times where I was feeling good, and I thought I was an ENFJ, which I have to break those things down later. In a future video, I think I'll have like a picture of what those represent, and I will leave a link in the bottom about a test or a website you can go to take the test to find out or give you an idea what type you might be. I went from an INFJ to an ENFJ to an INFP to what I am now, an ENFP. And it's not so much that I changed and all that. My perceptions had changed. I had to let go of some of the trauma that I had experienced. My nervous system had to relax and shed off years of compensation that I had been doing, where I was hiding myself because I was uncomfortable with who the fuck I was. And it feels good. And I still have more to do. And I love it. I look forward to it. Show me who the fuck I am so I can show up as I am. Because when you show up as you are, you light up so many people around you. My wife, for number one, my kids, what the hell? How else can I help them be all that they can be unless I can show them all that I can be? And this is a tool that has helped me get to that point and will help me continue to unravel that. I'm not nowhere near where I'm going to be. It's coming, baby. It's coming. It's coming. There was a point or a thought I just had about the experience there, shaking off that trauma. It'll come back to me and I'll put it in another video. Myers-Briggs personality test. There are plenty of other personality tests out there as well, and I'll break those down in future videos. One of my favorites is the Enneagram. Hell, you got Enneagram, human design, life path number, astrology, your different houses of astrology. I have dove into each of those, not to the extent that I want to. I've dove in pretty deep in there, and I have a pretty good sound understanding of them in regards to myself. And I can just help point people in a direction if that's what you're seeking. So Myers-Briggs personality test, Brent Thomas is what's called an ENFP. Self-awareness. Get some. Until next time.